What if the biggest obstacle in your life is you? Not the world, not your past, but the quiet ways you delay, distract, or destroy the things you say you want. It's called self-sabotage, and most of us do it. Not because we're weak, but because we're afraid. Afraid of success, afraid of failure, afraid of being seen. Self-sabotage is quiet. It doesn't always look like destruction. Sometimes it looks like staying busy with the wrong things. Sometimes it looks like setting a goal and never starting, like canceling plans you were excited about, like ghosting an opportunity right before it gets real. You tell yourself, I'll do it later. I need to wait until I'm more prepared. Maybe this just isn't the right time. But deep down, you know, this isn't about time. It's about fear. Fear that if you try and fail, it will confirm your worst beliefs about yourself. Fear that if you actually succeed, people will expect more, or that they'll see the real you and reject it. So you protect yourself by holding back, by shrinking, by choosing short-term comfort over long-term fulfillment. But what we call self-sabotage is often just self-protection in disguise. A nervous system trying to keep you safe from change, from uncertainty, from the unknown. And ironically, it's often triggered not when we're failing, but right when things start going well. Right when a breakthrough is near, we pull back. Not because we're broken, but because a part of us is still convinced, I'm not ready for more. To understand self-sabotage, you have to go backwards, to the moments you were shaped long before you had words for what was happening. Maybe you learned that love had conditions, that you had to be useful, polite, quiet, perfect, just to be accepted. Maybe every time you expressed anger, you were punished. Every time you made a mistake, someone made you feel small. So you adapted. You stopped reaching. You stopped taking up space. You became afraid of your own potential. Not because it's dangerous, but because no one ever made it feel safe. Now, as an adult, your subconscious still remembers that lesson. Don't shine too brightly. It's not safe. Don't stand out. You'll get hurt. And when you try to grow, to show up, to step forward, that buried fear kicks in. You sabotage not because you want to fail, but because somewhere deep inside, failure feels safer than success. Staying small feels safer than being truly seen. Self-sabotage is often your younger self trying to protect you, even if it's holding you back, even if it's costing you everything you want. Before we continue, please take a second to like this video. It really helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. So what do you do when the person standing in your way is you? The answer isn't to shame yourself into change. Self-sabotage doesn't go away through force. It softens with awareness and compassion. Start by noticing. When you put something off, ask, what am I avoiding? What am I afraid might happen if I actually follow through? Most of the time, the fear isn't of failure. It's of what success would require. Being seen, being vulnerable, being consistent. So you start small. You take imperfect action. You practice showing up, even when the fear is still there. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to move anyway. Learn to soothe your nervous system, not just push through it. Breathe. Slow down. Speak to yourself the way you would a scared child. Not with anger, but with gentleness. It's okay. You're safe. You're allowed to try. And most of all, remember that self-trust is built in the quiet moments. When you honor your word, when you try again, when you keep going, even if you've fallen 1,000 times before. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep returning to yourself. Self-sabotage is a pattern, and like any pattern, it can be rewired. But it takes patience. The mind learns through repetition, not just in thought, but in action. Every time you make a small different choice, to stay instead of run, to speak instead of silence yourself, to rest without guilt, you're teaching your nervous system a new truth. It's safe to show up now. It's safe to grow. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to the parts of you that got buried beneath fear, the part of you that wants to thrive, the part that's always been waiting for permission. Fear and self-doubt have been your constant companions for so long that they've become second nature. They feel familiar, even protective, like old friends who've always shown up at your door, warning you about the risks. But here's the truth. They're not there to help you grow. They're there to keep you small. Shifting from fear to self-trust isn't about removing the fear entirely. It's about learning to trust yourself in the presence of fear. It's about knowing that you have the strength to face discomfort, uncertainty, and yes, even failure. Because failure isn't the end. Failure is a step toward growth, toward wisdom. When you start trusting yourself, you stop seeing mistakes as catastrophes. You stop avoiding risks because you realize, even if things don't go perfectly, you can handle it. You can adapt, you can learn, and you can rise again. Building trust with yourself is a gradual process. It happens each time you show up for yourself, when you follow through on that small promise you made, when you keep going even though things feel hard. Self-trust is a deep knowing that you are enough, exactly as you are. It's the confidence to take the next step, even when the path isn't fully clear. And this trust is built not by avoiding fear, but by moving forward with it. You don't need the fear to go away to succeed. You just need to know that you can trust yourself to take the next step, no matter what. For so long, you've fought yourself, the doubts, the fears, the endless back and forth in your mind. You've been your own harshest critic, constantly feeling like you need to fix something, become something, to finally feel good enough. But what if the key to overcoming self-sabotage isn't changing who you are, but learning to be on your own side? Becoming your ally means accepting that you're human and that sometimes you'll make mistakes. It means choosing compassion over criticism, gentleness over force, understanding over judgment. It means embracing the parts of you that have been hiding in the shadows for too long. To become your ally, you start by quieting the inner voice that tells you you're not good enough. You replace it with a voice of encouragement, a voice that says you are allowed to try. You're allowed to fail and get back up again. You are worthy of every good thing. It's easy to think that growth means pushing harder, doing more, and never showing weakness. But the truth is, growth requires vulnerability. It requires showing up even when you're unsure. It requires being brave enough to take the first step, even when it's messy. And sometimes it requires resting, to honor your body, to give yourself the grace you'd offer to a friend. You don't need to have everything figured out to be your own ally. You just need to start treating yourself like you'd treat someone you love, with patience, kindness, and understanding. Because when you become your own ally, self-sabotage loses its power. You're no longer fighting against yourself. You're working with yourself, building the life you deserve, step by step. Self-sabotage isn't a flaw. It's an invitation to heal, to grow, and to reconnect with the truth of who you are. The journey isn't about perfection. It's about progress and, most importantly, compassion. So, be gentle with yourself. Allow room for mistakes, and remember, it's not about getting it right every time. It's about showing up. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to break free from self-sabotage and live a life with more intention, purpose, and peace. I'd love to hear from you. What's one small step you're going to take today to start becoming your own ally? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. And I'm here to support you on this journey. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.